Hi and welcome to episode 5 of Sullying the Lad with me, Dom Ladd from Dom Ladd Personal Training and Chris O'Sullivan from Grizzlies in Horsham. Today we'll be discussing business and how to set medium, long-term and short-term goals, as well as how to grow in a very difficult time. We hope you enjoy it. Welcome to episode 5 of Sullying the Lad, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Woohoo!
Well, don't try not to sound too enthusiastic. Woo! Sound like you've lost the will to live.
I'm buzzing for this. Just go.
You're buzzing. So today I'd like to talk about goals and intentions. And I thought we could start off by talking firstly through business goals and intentions. And I'm going to ask you a few questions about that. So I wanted to ask you, I've just started my business. I'm new. I'm just starting to pull things together. Things are starting to move in the right direction for me.
Yeah.
What would be your top tips for me to set for myself as a business goal in the next 3 to 6 months?
So I think if you've done a business plan, or maybe you haven't even written something down, but you have a big picture, basically where you want your business to be, where you want it to get it to, and then work backwards. That is how I kind of approach most things. But in the short term, you might want to set a few targets, like your social media, for instance, your marketing, like how much you want that to grow by in terms of the amount of followers, maybe your average likes to go up for social media. But also for your particular job, Dom, you'd probably be looking at retention of clients and also new clients. So obviously, any type of new business is going to help your business grow, which is the biggest thing you need to achieve, especially in those early days. So my targets would be, if it was my business, and previously from working on my business, is new clients. Need to have a strategic plan of how you're going to achieve new clients, what's working, what isn't. So advertising, marketing, but growth, and be realistic with your targets. So if you're looking at 3 months, you want to receive this amount of new clients, and then 6 months, again, you might want to double it, but realistically, you might want to get an extra 50%, an extra 25%. Don't be too unrealistic with it. But I would say new clients is massive as a target. Let me turn my phone off. This isn't going very well. But also retention of clients, because if you're getting loads of them in and then loads of them aren't sticking around, that's no good either. So my first thing would be growth, business growth, and for that you need new clients.
Yeah. So what would be your good tip for trying to get new clients? Because at the moment I'm seeing lots of things about social media is the cornerstone of all businesses, especially at the moment. But I've also heard lots of things about paid promotions being a waste of money, Google ads being a waste of money, all those kind of things. So what would be a good strategy for getting new clients if you're not going to use those avenues for sort of traditional advertising methods?
Sure. So I don't believe it's a waste of money. You can track it. That's the thing. You're actually about to see what's successful and what's not. It takes time to execute it properly, especially with Google Ads, to see what works in terms of what people are searching for, words and stuff. So I wouldn't say it's a waste of money, but it takes time, and it does take some money to be able to get there. But the biggest thing, that's been around for a long time. So Google Ads and Facebook has been around for a long time. When something's been around for that amount of time, it's harder to use because it's overpopulated. What you need to be looking for is the next big thing. Something like we're doing now, Dom, like is a step forward in that direction. It's something that people are paying a lot more attention to, podcasts.
Yeah.
But other platforms that are just about to take off, because you can apply it to all of the ones like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and you can spend money on Facebook ads and Google ads. But realistically, you want to organically grow and rapidly, then you need to be using stuff like TikTok and whatever else is up and coming. The next big thing.
Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Clubhouse is the new one, which is for business owners and entrepreneurs is the idea, but it's like mini podcasts on there, isn't it? And it's by invitation only. You can't just join it. Someone has to invite you to join. And when you join, I've been invited to join by a friend, Kirsty. Christy, get her name right. And then you can invite a couple of other people, and it's kind of, I don't know if they're trying to make it more exclusive.
But I guess it's where your clients are going to be as well. It can help your knowledge grow, but realistically, you're not going to gain clients from it. I would say TikTok. I would say the way you're set up and the amount of detail you put into your Instagram, the amount of growth you get back from that is minimal, and it's because it's controlled. It's very, very hard to organically grow, and something that's a lot newer lets you organically grow because it wants to be big. And by the time it's controlled, if you're done, and Instagram won't be used, and everyone will be on TikTok, but that's it. You can't organically grow because it's controlled now, and they want to make money, and it's full of ads. So you have to move quick. And when people tell you to do it and you don't, and you just sit on it like I have, now it's tougher. And the other thing is voice. Like I feel over the next couple of years, especially with all these lockdowns that have happened, Google Home and Alexa and stuff like that is going to be the place where people start looking. They're going to say, I need a PT in this area from home. Search it for me. Or they're going to be in their car and say the same thing. They're going to be anywhere. I've heard people talking that will have stuff built into clothes, just a little microphone, just links to your phone, and you'll just talk.
What? That's insane. That's proper insane.
Just say, I need a cab. Google, I need a cab. Don't even have to get your phone out. You've got a microphone. So it's been pictures, it's been videos, it's been images for a long time, and we like that stimulation. Our brain works off of that. But for simplicity, it's going to go microphone. It's going to go voice recognition. It's going to be. This is what I visualize anyway. That's what I think it's going to be. It's going to be, and you need to get your name out there and early, because people are going to say, "Can I have a haircut within 5 miles?" Or they might say, "Can I get a haircut at Grizzlies?" And that's why you want to build your brand. Because if I want to get some a fizzy drink in the house, for instance, and say, Amazon, I want Coke, I'm not going to say, Amazon, I would like Sainsbury's own brand, Coca-Cola. So that's why the brand's got to be built. But yeah, that's what I think, mate. So it's quite a far stretch, that one, but it's the next thing. And I think that's what we've got to work towards is what's next, and how quickly can we get there to organically grow before it's overpopulated and controlled. That's
a really good saying, isn't there? Top of mind, tip of tongue. So you need to be in people's thoughts straight away of, I had a good experience with that person. You've got to build trust so people know who you are. And I think that's something I'm finding with my Instagram, and it is really hard to grow. I've been plugging away at it for ages, and I still haven't even got 200 followers yet. But it doesn't really, it's partly annoying and partly I'm not bothered, because it's just another tool to revenue. And people on there, it's really nice because I have the same people on there saying, liking, commenting, and viewing my posts, and I know almost who they're going to be, and it's really nice that those people are engaged and
keep coming back. Yeah,
which is what you need. And it's also nice, bar a couple here or there, I know all the people on there that are liking me. So it's not trying to I'm not trying to pitch myself to strangers. It's already people that know me, which hopefully will help, because at the end of the day, I'm personal training. It's personal to me. So
yeah,
trying to get that out there. But as you say, trying to grow it.
A good tip on Instagram would be to go on a fitness page and see who's liking it, have a look at their profile, and does that meet what your niche is, and give them a follow.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I was thinking that as well. And also I was kind of thinking about I've been looking around at other accounts and what they're doing and what I'm not doing. And I've kind of fallen into a trap of I'm putting a lot of information out there. I'm doing daily tips, questions, little challenges, exercise tips. And I'm really concentrating on trying to help people, which is good. But I've suddenly realized my page is quite faceless. I'm not on it enough. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to build a connection with people if I'm just keep putting pictures out all the time of, hey, this is how to do a good pull up or whatever I'm doing. So I need to put me on there more to make it more personal, which I started yesterday, which I'm going to try and do.
Yeah. We spoke about it previously, and you are your brand. That is you. So you do need to feature, especially because, you know, it's just yourself.
I saw an interesting poll the other day. There's a guy called PTXL, a guy called Archie.
Yeah.
And he did a poll on that, and he asked the question, would you book a personal trainer without knowing or seeing them? Would you just, if you went on their page and it was just all really good infographics and really good information that was bang on point, are you more likely to go with them or someone where you've seen them, know them, and you've seen videos of them talking? And it was something like 77% said they would go with someone that they'd seen over someone that has really good knowledge and information. So people do want to have that connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
Which is what we're trying to get to now. So if I start, and for business, people listening, for business owners out there, I think another thing that I've realized, especially in business and what you're talking about, the way voices are going, videos are going, people want a presence from somebody. They want to see someone. So the sooner you get confident speaking on camera or confident speaking like on here or any of those things, if you can have that confidence in what you're doing, that will come across to people. And I think they'll find that useful as well.
Yeah. And just fucking do it. If you're thinking about it, just do it, because it's going to build your confidence. You can't dilly-dally on this stuff. Just get it out there and start doing it.
Just got to get on with it. And then anything you can do to try and make yourself stand out as a business, because there are loads of barbers, there are loads of personal trainers, there's loads of childminders, there's everything, there's loads of electricians and all these things. So how do you stand out? And I think that's got to be from your brand, as in you and what you're selling and what you're doing. And you've got to build, what's that saying? Know, like, and trust. They've got to know you, like you, and trust you. And you're not going to appeal to everybody. I mean, I've still got my same follower who just comes on and goes no to everything I post. No, I even put. I mean, it's just funny that people, but they're still engaged, so it's still valid.
That's the thing. People don't realize, like, they feel they're being mean and putting someone down, but actually you're giving that person more attention.
Yeah,
like
it's brilliant.
People, why is she saying that? I'm gonna have a look. And they're like, oh, I don't know why she said that. It's a ridiculous thing. He's a really nice guy.
I think it's hilarious. I do. I find it highly amusing. Just that, and I think I was gonna put a reply like, I think you need to watch Yes Man, because you just say no to literally everything that's on there. But it's a great film. But I think so for anyone growing a business, obviously revenue, cash flow is the most important thing. Providing a service that people know, like, and trust, but off the back of that, you've got to pay your bills and you've got to eat. So yes, I mean, I think that's the thing for me. I've been finding it a little bit, I feel like I'm plugging away, but actually when I take a step back, I've actually increased my client base by 50% this month. So that's good. So if I stay on that, it's not going to stay on that, but if I stayed on that graph exponentially, then I'll be fine 2-3 months time down the line. And I think, like you said, repeat business within business is really important. And I think a thing as well, which I've having experiences of all these big corporate companies, it's something I don't want to do is, and I have done it a couple of times, I'll admit that, when you've got your existing clients, I still want them to feel special. They're still the most important thing to me. Getting new clients in is, but once you're in my bubble, I want you to feel like you're the only person in my bubble and that you're really special and that I'm there for you and I'm in your corner and I genuinely want to help. And a couple of times I've dropped the ball on a couple of people and that's part of my learning curve, but I don't want people to feel like, and it's like all these these big businesses, the big media companies and insurances, like once you're a customer, that's it, you're in, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about you. Your price
No.
quite often goes up, but the level of service goes down. They trap you into these long contracts and then don't do anything for you. Whereas I'm trying to be, I have all my packages have a 3-month minimum contract with me. And that's for me to give them an opportunity, as much opportunity as I can to help them. It's not, oh, you've got to work with me for 90 days because I need 3 months of income. It's that's the time it takes to see results. And it gives me a good time to impart as much knowledge as I can onto them so they know what they're doing. And in those 3 months, they should know enough, have seen enough change to then go off and implement everything on their own. If they want to stay with me, brilliant. And we can take it to the next level. There's always levels you can go up in your knowledge and application of knowledge. But trying to retain I see it as a team. Trying to retain your team is vital, I think. And I mean, again, it's something that you do within your business, is providing a good service consistently. Sometimes you're going to go a bit off, but if I came to you and I came to you twice and every time I walked off going, that was shit, I wouldn't come back to you. I mean, obviously we've got to know each other and we're mates now, which is cool, but the top thing you've always done is you provide a good level of service. And I think that's really important in business, to not take your eye off the ball. And like you do, you're continually developing yourself and your team and your training and knowledge and applying new things, new techniques. And I think that's the thing in business. People can learn enough to go get by and then go, right, that'll do. Now I need to sit and just pull the money in. No, keep developing. Once you reach a level, make that your base level and then push on from there and keep growing. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, you've touched on some really, good subjects there. And just reverting back to the, working on the clients that you already have. Yeah, you need to do that and get the new clients in. But yeah, never forget about the ones that started you off and that you've retained, because you don't want anyone to get bored and then move, because then what happens is you'll stop growing again. You'll get new clients coming in, but then you'll see a drop off maybe after 6 months because you haven't given those new clients, once they've become a little bit more regular, the attention that they got at the beginning. And talking about insurance firms and banks and anyone like that, they're awful for it, for reeling you in and then just letting you die. They don't care. And it's weird that, because they've never really learned. But I think, you're offering something really personable and really customized for that person. We both do in that regard. So I think goals wise, mate, if you've increased by 50% this month, that's amazing. That's so good. It's such a pat on the back. And that's the kind of thing, because you've lived a bit of your business now and you can look at a bit of data, that's really good for setting goals. So if you've increased maybe 25% the month before that and then 50% this month, then I don't see why you can't go 50% again. And maybe for the average over the next 3 months, 50% could be your target. Get anywhere near that, mate. Like, that's amazing growth.
It's good growth. I mean, thank you. I mean, I think that's the thing for anyone listening who's starting their own business or just started or thinking of starting. I think it's a good thing to do. I felt overwhelmed, and it's easy to get lost in things and think, oh, what the hell am I doing this for? And I'm doing this wrong and I'm doing that wrong and blah, blah, blah. But actually, if you take a step back at what you're doing, like you're saying, referring back to start, look at the picture, the overall picture, and go, actually, that bit's going well, that bit's going well. And also look at things that aren't going well and think, well, what can I do? And do I need to focus that much attention on that? Is it going to help me grow my business? Is it going to help me develop it, or is it going to help me develop my clients and give a better service? Because sometimes, I guess, going forward, I suppose it would be an analogy if you've got a massive truck loaded full of stuff, but ultimately you don't need all of it. You need to keep streamlining down until you're just rolling on a really good thing that works for you and your business.
Yeah,
so you get it streamlined down. Because I feel like I've got so much to do, and I wake up some days and I'm like, oh my god. So having defined, write it down. Having defined, we spoke about that before, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Having defined goals and targets, and then you know where you're going. So like you say, now I know where I am now, and if people are listening, if they know where they are now, they can write down what they've done well and then identify, right, next month I need to hit this, and this is the pattern of how I'm going to do it, and then apply it and go and do it and keep going till you've done it.
And that reflection tool that you talked about a second ago, about looking back and seeing how far you've come, and actually think, oh wow, actually, like there's me thinking, right, I haven't got a huge amount of money coming in right now, but then you look back and think, oh, actually though, compared to month one, it's this much better, and I've achieved this, and my name's got out there, and I've got more clients and so on. It's really important to do that, especially if you hit a bit of a wall, which everyone does. Even the top dogs will hit a wall and think, not feeling that great about my business at the minute. Have a little reflect, have a little look, and then you'll get a sense of direction again. I do it all the time. And goals wise, I do month by month. And I have like a want for the year for the business, and then obviously work back. But month by month, I'm like, right, this is what needs to happen this month. This is the target for this. This is the target for that. And we've grown and grown and grown and grown. There aren't many months that we haven't grown. There's probably 2 or 3 per year that plateau a little bit. Other than that, it grows. And once you get that data, once you start to see your progression, it gives you a bit of confidence, and it makes you feel a bit more like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he doesn't mind me bringing it up, but I just want to talk about I've got 2 dads, not biologically, one biological, one non-biological dad, but they're both my dads. And one of my dads is an electrician, and he spent his whole life working for EDF. He was kind of institutionalized. And they made him redundant, which at the time really shook him to his core, because he'd only known that since he was 16. I mean, that's a long time. I think they made him redundant when he was about 50. I might be wrong, but somewhere around then. So that's a long time in that industry. And when he was let go, so he got a package and he could survive a bit on his money, but it really shook him to his core. And he was like, what am I going to do now? And he set up his own business. But when he started, I know he really struggled. But he's amazing at what he does. He's so good at what he does. And the service he provides, I mean, I'm not being biased. His workmanship is just top level, and he's so clean and tidy and courteous to his clients. To start with, he was a bit like, he worked for a load of subbies, and they kind of dicked him around and stuff. But now he's out on his own, and he's got so busy now, he can barely keep up with it. And he's got such a good name and a good reputation. And that all stems from his work ethic and him being good at what he does. Again, just as an example, but of someone that was really down and really struggled. And at some points, we weren't even sure if he was going to keep going. And that's another thing, 75% or something like that, 75% of new businesses fail in the first year.
Yeah. And do you know what? Those ones that do fail, they don't know how close they are to it not.
No, well, we touched on that before. People don't realise how close they are. But if he'd given up, it would have been such a shame, because he's so good at what he does, and now he's pushed through. And now, like I say, he can't keep up with his workload. He's got so much on. I mean, I think he's at the point where he never would, but he probably could employ a little junior to help him out and stuff. But again, it's a good example of just keep trucking. As Dory says in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. You have to just keep going and keep the faith sometimes. I think we're all guilty of that, of feeling a bit lost and not really knowing where we're going and how to keep going. But I think for me, when you hear stories like that, I find it really inspiring. It's like, no, I look at him and I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Every business starts in the same way. No one just hits it like that.
No.
And if they do hit it like that and it's a new business, I guarantee they've had other businesses before. Very, very rare do you get a business they put minimum effort in, and just purely from their intelligence, they just get it on day one.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
I have seen businesses that seem to appear from nowhere, go boom, and they're massive, but they're always like they just burn so brightly. They burn out as quick as they burn in, and they don't last. Whatever that business is, there might be just a particular niche in the market at that time, and they suddenly
But you'll find there's people that is their business, so they fill a void, a demand. They do well out of it. They close it down. They get the next one, And that's how they work on it. They know that it's not a long-term thing, but their long-term business plan is to have multiple businesses like that stop and start and fill a gap.
In terms of in fitness, I would identify short-term, medium, and long-term goals with a client. So how would you advise businesses to do that? Because I asked you at the start.
Exactly the same way. So you asked me a question over the next 3 to 6 months, and I said you get to your big plan and work your way back, and that's how I do it. So let's say, for example, my big plan is to have multiple shops and to have an academy and to franchise out the shops, but to employ employers. Okay, so let's say that's my big plan. I then look at that and think, right, in what order do I need that to happen? Now, I want to train people in an academy to a good level to feed the shops. And that needs to happen after I have 1, maybe 2 shops. So what I'm working on at the moment is the academy, because I need to fill the other shops. I also need to recruit for like a second shop, and I also need a new shop owner to be able to franchise that out. So that's my medium term is the academy. And then you've got my short term, which is I need educators for the academy and I need money for the academy. So I then work out how much money it's going to cost me and how many educators I need to be there, and possibly how many, people we would be training. So then I then put into plan to get people qualified to be able to teach. And even before that, mate, we're talking 3 years now. I've been working on Laura to become an educator. So she's been doing all the in-house training anyway. So I know what a big plan is. And then I go, right, medium, this is what looks over 1 to 2 years. And now what I need to work on now. And then this month, I work all the way back. And that's how far I think ahead. And the thing is, from day one, that's been my plan and my goal and my intention. And that still is, and I'm still working on it. And yes, like we've said previously, you're going to do some things that are a little bit too soon for you and maybe divert you off track a little bit. But that's what I would say. You've got to dream big. You've got to want it, but you've got to know where you're going. You can't just be paddling in an endless river and have no end goal. And like I say, the posts move, but you only get bigger. You're only onto something bigger, So always start with a big picture and then work backwards in segments. Literally, I brainstorm, get a big piece of card in the middle, do the big picture, and then work backwards.
That's a good idea.
Literally to a month. I wouldn't go less than a month. And then your list per day. What's pushing you forward? What's getting you nearer to that? So that's how I work, mate, and it's always worked for me. I don't think I got that from anywhere. It's just I've always had a really strong vision of what I want to aim for, and just work my way back.
What do you think about people in business that maybe have smaller goals, as in they're providing a service and they just want X number of clients and X number of turnover month to month?
The same. That's your big goal. So it doesn't matter that your big goal might be, I don't know, like to be the next Apple, or it doesn't matter if your big goal is to just grow your business. It's the same business model to get there. So if you're saying, let's say, Dom's business, he wants 7 clients a day, 5 days a week, and that's your big picture. Then you work backwards from that. How do you achieve that?
I've kind of done that. I've got an idea of a turnover I would like to have, and then I've got my packages, and I've got X amount of people per package, and that's a measurable goal. And I think that's the thing. The goals need to be measurable as well, like a timeline for them. When do you want to hit them by? And if you're not getting them, why? And what can you do to steer it back towards that goal and make sure you keep hitting those targets? Otherwise, your business won't survive. That's the sad truth of it.
I was just trying to run some stats because we were talking about business growth, and this isn't to gloat at all. But
look out! Incoming gloating. Here it comes. Let's relate this to your business as an example. So go on.
Yeah, we've got a bit of data to use. So
I think that's before you say that, I think that's a really important thing that I didn't necessarily know much about. Stats don't lie, and is a really all your data and all that stuff is a really good indicator. It's good KPIs, your key performance indicators of where you're at and where you need to be. And I don't think people use them. I certainly don't. And that would be something I've learned, which would be a top tip for businesses and people starting businesses, to actually look at your stats and data, and then you can use that to improve your performance. So our incoming stats from Chris O'Sullivan regarding businesses and their performance.
Me and Georgie, when we first opened, we would literally have days we wouldn't see people. We would literally have that whole day where we'd be there and we wouldn't have one person walk in. Wow. We wouldn't have one person book an appointment online. Now, our biggest thing was online booking, and Google Ads did work for me for that. Because at the time, barbershops in and around Horsham weren't really doing it. So when this pandemic happened, we didn't have to change any of that. We already had that nailed down. So on the first month that me and Georgie opened, we had 24 clients. 24. That's not even one a day. On our last month, which was 3 weeks, because we weren't allowed to open till a couple of days into December, and then we closed for Christmas. So it's a total of 3 weeks. We had 947 clients.
Well, there you go.
And that's not our highest. So I'd say we're well over 1,000.
That's 1,000 a month.
45-minute appointments, you know. So
that's the whole
3
team.
years.
That's the whole team, yeah.
That's well, not completely, because we had one member of staff only there for about a week because she had to self-isolate on 2 occasions.
Well, we know who that was, Emily. So I'm not saying I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, Emily, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's not that wouldn't have been, that would have been well over 1,000.
So you've had realistic growth. Did you sit down and go, right, I need X amount of customers, clients per month to make this work? What was your base level?
My business plan, probably spoke about it before, was very in depth, mate. So I forecasted for 3 years. I forecasted the first 3 years, per day, per week, per month, how much would be coming in, when the prices would go up, when the minimum wage would go up, when people would start earning commission, what it would look like if people had holiday, what it would look like if someone got pregnant. I worked for about a year on my business plan. And for some people, they don't do them and are very successful as well. And did I stick to my business plan completely? The main aim, the main goals, yes. I had to pivot multiple times. So those figures, which I haven't compared for a long time, actually, I compared them for the first couple of years and I've stopped comparing them. So it'd be interesting to see now what they look like compared to what I forecast. But maybe that's a bit over the top, but I needed to raise funds for my business. And you know, if you're asking for a serious amount of cash, you need a serious amount of information and realistic targets. So yeah, I did put a lot of time into it and think about it a lot. I did a lot of research on business plans and how people have been successful getting business loans, because they're not easy. Not unless you can get one of these grants, like if you're young enough, but I wasn't young enough. So yeah, I did. And that's quite, you know, going back to what we're talking about today about goals and intentions, that hits both of them a business plan, because you do set yourself goals and you're realistic with it. And I think sometimes businesses that you mentioned earlier that pop up and pop down, you know, if that isn't their aim, maybe a coffee shop opens and doesn't do too well and closes within 6 months. I don't think they've planned for worst case scenario. So you need to know roughly what worst case scenario is, what that looks like financially, so you know how long you can survive for. And if you have no cash, if you have no cash flow, if you have no cash in reserve, That's what my business loan was for, was to pay for the rent and the wages, etc. I had the money for the fit. But if I just went in there with just money for the fit, we wouldn't have survived.
So you need a bit, sometimes businesses, I mean, we can get onto that on another subject about businesses having capital or raising capital to keep.
Yeah, I think it's really important we cover that, actually, because it's one of those ones.
Yeah.
That maybe we talk about the glamour and exciting bit, but actually the nitty gritty, the numbers, you've got to address it.
Yeah. I've heard of loads of businesses where they don't have a mission statement and they don't have a business plan and they don't forecast everything out, and they just sort of fly by the seat of their pants. And I've heard of people that just kind of seem to be making it up as they're going along, and they can make it stick somehow.
Yeah, no, I know many successes that haven't done a business plan, but maybe they didn't need to raise the money at the beginning. Maybe they've grown a bit slower. Maybe they haven't. We'll have Pointless Plants on soon, and I know his story. He didn't do an in-depth business plan. Definitely not. He managed to get some money, but I'll tell you what, his work ethic is ridiculous, and his passion is huge, and his mission statement is massive. So although he doesn't have a business plan in terms of numbers, he might do now. I don't know.
Well, there's that famous saying by Vince Lombardi, isn't there? The American football coach, where the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. And I think that goes a long way to your work ethic. Work, and it's the same in fitness and music. I can relate it to music. Obviously, some things you need a little bit of natural talent in, but when you hear about the amount of hard work people put in behind the scenes to get to where they are, is quite breathtaking and incredible. And nothing generally happens by mistake, ever. And it's like when you see these people doing ridiculous feats of strength, people are like, oh my God.
How is that possible?
How can he do that? Well, he's just picked up, or he's just bench pressed 600 pounds because he spent the last 20 years building up to it. It's not happened by mistake overnight. And I think that goes a long way in businesses as well. You've got to put in the time, but you've also got to put in the time having clear goals and being productive. And I feel like I've been a bit of floundering and sort of trying to throw too much out and not enough sticking at the wall. I need to focus in on things. And I think that's a big tip that I would like to give people is focus in on your goals, what they are, how you're going to get there, and then drill down into it and get it done, basically. I think that's what we spoke about for the whole parking in an empty car park's harder than a car park that's only got 2 spaces in it.
We can overcomplicate things, definitely. I do that reasonably often. And then to think about it and think, actually, the answer is really simple, we just, you saying some people were really successful without a business plan. I probably put too much effort into my business plan, but it was new to me as well. But and some people don't and are really successful, but it doesn't mean they're not working their absolute arse off. And sometimes it just might all be up here. They don't need to write stuff down. They know where they've got to be. They know what numbers they've got to achieve.
For people not being able to see, Chris just pointed to his head. Needs to be where? Oh, up there.
Yeah.
In your head. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, that we spoke about it before. Don't leave your fortune to memory. Just write shit down. And I'm terrible. Like, even ideas pop into my head when I'm just brushing my teeth or in the shower or whatever. And then if I don't write it down straight away, it's gone. And like today, I was thinking about what we were doing for the podcast, and I had some really cool ideas. And then I went off, did this, did that, and then I sat down and was like, bollocks, I just can't remember any of that now. So having voice memos on your phone or notes on your phone or a pad and pen near you and just jot stuff down as it comes into your head, and then it's not gone. You can come back to it later if you need to, but the idea is always there to be used. So that's another good tip. Anyway,
so we haven't really spoken about your goals. What, we've mentioned a few tips and stuff, but do you know what your goal is for this year, or do you know what the goal is for the next 3 months?
Well, I've written down my targets and the growth that I need to do and what I'd like to do for my short-term and medium goals.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stick to them. I feel like they're slipping a little bit, but I've got this month to pull it back and get it on track. And it's really about getting out there and helping people and identifying how I can help people. And I think for me, it's businesses need to be there to solve an existing problem that somebody has, and I'm really trying to drill down into what are the problems people have and how can I help them, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Come up with solutions and constantly learning is my goal, because I've had feedback from some of my clients about the plans I've written them, and it's again tweaking those down and making it easy to as possible to apply for the client so they can't fail. So again, delivering us a more streamlined service that I know is going to get results, and really trying to stick to basics. In fitness, there's so many options, it's ridiculous, but actually you only need a few basic things. You know, you want a toolbox with stuff in it that you know that's going to work, and you don't need loads of stuff. And it's the same with working out. I mean, just getting everything streamlined down basically is my plan for my business, because I'm feeling like there's too much going on. I'm trying to juggle too many balls. So writing down my goals and sticking to them. Also, another one of my goals is to not sniff at the end of every sentence that I say.
I think I'm probably putting too many ums in there.
No, but I have a short, medium, and long. I mean, my long-term dream plan would be to build my business up. I'd love it in like 3 months. Get a client base of retained clients that are happy and getting results, that want to stay and be in my bubble and be part of my team. They're in my little world, and I want them to be in my world and help them out. And then from there, I'd like to expand it out and grow it out so I have more of an online presence and I can coach people anywhere they are. I do have clients already in America and Canada and other places, and it doesn't matter where the people are. I can help them now due to technology. So improving my online service, but one-to-one training is amazing and so rewarding. I can't wait for lockdown to go so I can get back to really focusing on building that. And then long-term goal, I'd love to employ some people. I really would. I'd love to build my business up enough to have, okay, I've got 2 or 3 other coaches that go out and use they're working under my banner. And I'd love to employ people to help me on the business side as well. So I have a team that look after my accounting. I have a team that do my social media for me, all that stuff. That's like pie in the sky. But like you say, if I work towards that, and I think that could be a sort of 3-year plan that I work back towards. That's my plan. But above all, just keep helping people. Thank you so much for listening to episode 5. We hope you enjoyed that and you found some useful tips in there that helps your business grow and develop. Episode 6 will be out shortly, featuring Nathan from Pointless Plants. We can't wait to bring you this one. There's some real gems of knowledge in there from a really good businessman. As always, thank you so much for listening and for all your support. Stay safe and we'll catch you soon. Thank you.